right, I have returned for days 102 and 103. Yes, I missed yesterday. That was kind of a conscious choice. Conscious? Yeah. Because it was my rest day and did a little bit of running around, but mostly I did a bunch of working on some side projects. And even though I was in front of my computer and I could have just streamed, by the time it was like time to stream, I was off and on to something else. So, bummer. But I will do yesterday's check-in for today. So yesterday I did have to do late night cardio. And I did get that done moving into rest day, which is good. Obviously I had an impromptu cheat day. I kind of mentioned that during day 101, because I got tax return and feeling good and was like, okay, cool, time to celebrate just a little bit. Wasn't crazy. I just had a cheat meal where I had like tater tots at Top Golf and a few cheese fries. So I'd say I went over my calories by about 200 or 300. Nothing crazy. But during today's weigh-in, I did wind up weighing in 0.05 pounds heavier. Not something that's terribly shocking. Honestly, I drank a ton of water too. I think having that much more sodium in my diet than normal from fucking tater tots. And, you know, between that and the fact that I went over on calories, it's not insane. And then for today's workouts, there's not going to be any check marks for that because it is rest day. Monthly totals are looking like 7 pounds down, grand total weight loss at 67.9. So doing okay. I still am close to the pace that I need to be. I think it's 286.4 is what I'm trending for right now. So we'll see how that winds up working out. But yeah, that is, let me update the tracker, in fact. All right, that is it for day 102. And now, through magic, we move on to day 103, which is today. The day where we return. Ba-dink, ba-dink. We hide those. Ba-dink, ba-dink. We take those off. And we update some numbers and record a new weigh-in. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, so here we are. Day 103 yesterday was rest day. I hit my calories. I did 1,500. I wound up at like 1,530. I had like part of a tea I didn't drink, so I'd say I hit right around 1,500. Felt pretty good. I had cereal for dinner, which is honestly like pretty filling. And I was really just craving something sweet for dinner, so I was like, you know what, Honey Nut Cheerios it is. And Honey Nut Cheerios are pretty good for you. So I'm not complaining about it. Overall, I was pretty hungry yesterday, and I felt my hunger a little bit more than I normally do. But I think overall it was okay. I got on the scale today to weigh in, and I was even with yesterday. So I weighed in at 296.1 2 days in a row. A little bit disappointed, but realistically on a rest day, you know, that's not terrible, and I think it's really setting myself up to be trending back down tomorrow. I am coming to you today with the same numbers as yesterday, so monthly total and total weight loss don't change. I did just lift, changed up my lifting a little bit. So I increased my weight on my, I've realized that my biceps aren't really getting taxed when I'm doing my preacher curl bench, but I'm doing hammer curls with dumbbells, and I do feel it when I do that for sure, and especially near the end of that set. And I do 2 sets for preacher curls. So I upped my weight on preacher curls, kept it at 12, and by the end of my sets for the preacher curls, I was like, yes, now I can feel it. And it's not to say I haven't seen some bicep development. I have. But I want to make sure that I'm actually sore and moving towards muscle failure by the end of my set. So it took me about an hour and 6 minutes today, when I'm normally like right around an hour, not including the 10-minute warm-up. So yeah, today's workout was completed for the morning, and it was probably more intense than I've had in the past. I was like, okay, weight is starting to get heavy and I can feel it, but I can also still make it through my sets. So that's a good thing. So weight has gone up for just about everything. And then for my shrugs, my shoulder shrugs, which is just holding 2 25-pound dumbbells and shrugging like shoulder blades back, like shrugging up. I just felt it there. I went from 15 reps to 20 reps, and I do 6 sets of those. And then I do like upright barbell rows. And that weight went up because I'm using the same weight as I use for my bicep curl for that. But yeah, I feel it, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. So let's go ahead and look at the progress chart. As you can see, 296.1, 296.1. And I just updated the tracking formula, and I'm trending for 288.6 because I've had a little bit of a stagnant weekend. So the 14th and the 15th obviously haven't been great, but hopefully tomorrow I'll be back in the 295s. Very much hoping that that is the case and get that look trending down. Let's see what days I need to update for overall progress. The 11th forward. So I need all 5 of these. Put into overall progress. And then keep it in perspective. My trend line is still very much heading downwards. And this month hasn't seen the monthly bump. Like, that's Christmas right there. That is my Vegas trip. That is another Vegas trip. The flat line is the Dominican. And then that little bump is actually just a weigh-in problem. So, and by weigh-in, I mean I weighed in on the wrong day. I've actually been more stagnant than anything. So not bad. I'm trying to remind myself that being thirsty is not something to ignore. Like, being dehydrated is not being healthy, especially for someone who has an AFib. Like, just drink the water, man. So let's do overview here. So it looks like I'm on a 5-day streak, which is cool. Today's row was 10 minutes. I got 34 output. Yesterday was rest day, but it counted my late workout from Friday as Saturday. So that's neat. It still misses strokes every now and then. Like, I'll be doing like a game that's designed to keep your state steady, and it'll just suddenly show me that like I flatline out. So there's something that's off with the machine still, and it is frustrating because it is such an expensive piece of equipment to see something like that. So yeah, still not very happy with my Averon, especially because they just keep trying to get me to give them more money. I would, if there was ever a product that came out that was Averon specific that I wanted, I would order their competitor. Like, that's how I feel right now with how things have been. But I did manage to do my Wordle yesterday because I realized I wasn't going to stream like 11 o'clock at night. So I was like, just knock it out. So I did my Wordle last night, so I'm feeling okay about that. If you've Wordled, don't tell me. If you haven't, don't look. Today is not Clout Day. One day it'll be Clout Day. In fact, I was going to pause just now and check and see when Clout Day will be. But I realized if I do that, I would reveal what today is. We're going to go with Brave. We're going to shift that RA slightly down. And I'm on the right track. What about Grape? What about, well, we can't do Grave. Graze. Fuck. All right, we have a couple. So there's Grade, Grade. That should be it, right? Grane is not right. It's gotta be Grade. I'm not gonna worry about it. Just gonna do it. And we got it. Got it in 6. So got close. Glad we did the RA shift. Let's check and see. List of Wordle words. Sure. Oh, it doesn't have today. That's cool. All Wordle answers. Cloud has been used. Clout hasn't been used. Raise was just such a good day. My grandfather got it in one time. And he said he picked it because it's how he felt. And this was when he was 99. Or approaching 99. And that was Frail. That one still makes me sad. But he was always like, me and Adam are the 2 people who've got it in 1. So it's just another way I felt kind of connected with my grandfather. Although he got it by guessing it whole cloth, and I got it by using the same word hundreds of days in a row, which is what I'm doing now. But Clout Day will come. We'll see when that is, but it's not today, so no worries. I have made a couple of things using Claude. I don't know if you guys know what Claude is. It's an AI tool that helps with programming. And I'm kind of excited about them. So they're for my D&D campaign specifically. I got a message on, okay, it's on Facebook, and it's not something I need to urgently address. So this is kind of what I made. This is not the version that's the newest version, but it's just like a loot box that you would get in a video game. But I had Claude help me program it so that depending on what level I give them, they can open a chest. Yeah, this is the newest one. Okay, so you have to have a code to open it because I realized that they would just constantly open it and fuck with the settings. So I have this. I'm gonna find. I have all my code stored somewhere. Yep, it's on this one. I'm gonna scooch this. No one look. Yeah. So let's just open. Let's just do a. How about a gold? Let's just do a gold. I can always add more codes later. But basically, if they complete a mission, they get a loot chest. One of them gets to open it. They get to pick who. And I give them a code. They come in here. They click unlock, and pow! The chest opens. 37 gold pieces per adventure. An elixir of health. Cures disease and conditions. Reroll any one pull. This box only. That's interesting. I don't remember programming that in. +1 armor. Light, medium, or heavy. They can choose. And rare gemstones that add up to 100 gold. Done. And I'm going to change the loot tables. The main loot table I have built out right now is bronze. And I also have it built out where if they get a scroll, I think I can share this, yeah. So this is the loot table that I have for them. Where depending on the tier, how many pulls they get per box. So like essentially how many items they're going to get. And then what the gold payout is per player. And then the gold consumable, basic gear, trade goods, permanent magic, special boons, like what the percentages are that they should see based on which box they're opening. And you can see spell, scroll, cantrip, spell, scroll, first level. When I first had them opening, that's what was coming out. But I added on this spell list, which goes through every spell that's in D&D Beyond right now. Actually, it looks like it has changed. So let me just Control Z that. Okay, I might have adjusted it. It's okay. But I have one that's uploaded into my bot where it has every spell list. And then this is what threw everything off, was adding on this specific link that should let them go and see what the spell does. So they can actually get a spell that tells them, a scroll that tells them what the spell is. So pretty excited about that. And I built it fairly quick. And I've also made a few other things. I don't know if you guys use D&D Beyond, but I find it to be incredibly difficult to homebrew a character. I don't know why they have made it so difficult. It's very frustrating because like you kind of have to like program in everything and it takes forever. Whereas like if you use Roll20, you just right click, add character, and you can like add a portrait and it's super fast, and it's just not like that in D&D Beyond. So I made an NPC forge. I don't know why in the world this tab, I think it's because this is not an incognito tab, that's why. Where I can go in here, and as long as I have a Gemini API key, I could use a couple of different API keys, but Gemini is free. I can give it a prompt and it'll create not just a NPC for me, which a lot of things can do, but it also creates the block of text to put into the traits description, the actions description, which if you're building an NPC, anyone who's ever built an NPC knows there's a lot that goes into tossing stuff into it. So I can actually show that. Click my homebrew creations. I can move this over here. So Captain Chadwick GPT, private never submitted, because I'm going to keep these for myself. So when you put this stuff in for actions, like if you want it to actually work in an encounter, you have to code it. So for instance, come on, there we go. Basic information. You have to put in like bracket rollable +8, like I don't even know what you call this specific type of parentheses. And then like quote, dice, notation, roll type, roll action, close the rollable, give it some more flavor text about the range, one target, and then hit, how much it should be. If you do hit, it's like the middle of the road plus your modifier, or you can let people roll for it, so that if you wind up doing an encounter, I have to do my campaigns to do this. Let's just jump into my newest one, Stripes. I have a lot of campaigns. And I'm going to launch. Actually, no, I want to do an encounter. Excuse me. Sorry. They changed how this looks, so I'm a little bit slow on the draw. Where's test? There's test. So if you program it that way, program it, code it, whatever. When you run an encounter, you can see Chadwick GPT. I can just click +8, and it'll roll a weapon attack of +8. And if it hits, then I can roll the damage. And if you don't have the brackets put in there the right way, it won't work. Also, the thing that sucks about this is that even though this is coded correctly, copying and pasting it directly, and I have a copy button on here, it's a little bit difficult to see. I can bold the text up. Won't work. You have to like Control Shift V, which is paste as plain text, so it's not formatted in any way, shape, or form, or else D&D Beyond won't listen to it, which is super, super annoying. And then obviously the other stuff that you always put in, like ability scores, but then it tells you like AC type, initiative bonus, average HP, HP die count in case you just want to roll it for it, the die value, HP modifier, what the saving throws are, does he have any senses, dark vision and passive perception of 16, and that stuff that you can just drop in manually, which is cool. You know, I've enjoyed using this tool because it makes it go a lot faster. I had a button put on it for generating a token, so like a character token, so that when I actually drop it onto the map, you can see Chadwick GPT. And I think I can do that. So let me see, back to my campaign, launch VTT, virtual tabletop. Should just be, yeah. You can see Chadwick GPT right there, and then Corwin, who's another character that I built out. And then if I start a combat, open sidebar, it looks like combat might be going already. You can add all tokens that are on your map, which I will. And then if I want to attack with Chadwick GPT, I can just go to his stat block and click +8. And if it's not formatted correctly, you can't fucking do that, and it's a nightmare. So this is something I have control over. These are things I have control over. As long as it's formatted correctly, and rather than spending so much time formatting shit, I just made the NPC Forge to do this. I'm sure something like this out there already exists. I don't want to look for it. I don't want to pay for it. And having this here where I can just do exactly what I want. Well, like, say they're going to meet a character. I'm just going to say, like, challenge rating of 1. Let's call it a gnome. What class do I want this gnome to be? Gnome Barbarian, because I think it'll be hilarious. Gnome Barbarian with... let's say a combat reaction, so it can pick something. I can tell it to forge. It's going to roll stuff up. As long as anyone has a Gemini API key, which are completely free, you can do, I think, 25 of these a day, or 5 a minute. So pretty good for building. And if I wanted to make like a pay version, I could, and just have it be my API key and then just put myself onto a pay plan. I think it's like 0.4 of a penny for images to be generated. And then I can use that generate token button directly rather than have it do what it does now, which is like, and I could also name him if I was smart, but I forgot. Actions, bonus actions. Oh, it gave him a reaction. Retaliation: when a creature within 5 feet of the gnome hits it with a melee attack, the gnome can use its reaction to make 1 melee weapon attack against the creature. And then generate token. So this wouldn't work because a lot of the image generators, to do an API call, you have to pay. So I made it so it just opens ChatGPT with the prompt of what you have already built in. And then it tells it what it wants it to be, like detailed face, painterly RPG art style, plain dark background, circular token composition, 256 by 256, because that's what you need if you want to put it onto a virtual tabletop with D&D Beyond. And then I can just tell it, like, go ahead, do it. The one problem with this is that you have to depend on ChatGPT to listen to your directions, which it never does. It always turns it out at like 1085 by 1085 or some shit. And then if you tell it, like, you made it the wrong dimensions, it'll go through this series of like trying to scale it down and throwing errors. So I just take whatever it makes me, I put it into Paint, and I just go into, I'll show you exactly what my process is. First I open it and I see, okay, cool, he looks dope. It's also the wrong size. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to open with Paint. I don't know why I've decided to show this. 1024 by 2024. I'm going to resize, switch it to pixels. I know it needs to be 256. It's going to maintain the aspect ratio and it's already a square. So I shrink it down and I just save as with the number 2. And there you go. I could also just name it, but it's just extra time that I really don't need to worry about. And now I have made an NPC that I can just go over into Creations. I didn't need to do that. I could just click create a monster. It's fun when the thing that you're waiting on is D&D Beyond and not the tool that you built. And I can just give this guy a name, and I'm just going to call him Chester. I don't want to call him Chester Molester. Chester Orbits, because that's what's on my desk, because I looked over and I saw gum 5.5e, monster type. And I don't even need to do anything else aside from just copy paste. So NPC Forge, although I'm not going to copy paste. So subtype, monster type is humanoid. Subtype is gnome. I hit H. Size is going to be small, huh? Yeah, size is small. Hey, they made him alignment chaotic good. I like that. So even though he's an asshole, which I want him to be an asshole, he's going to be chaotic good. He's a barbarian, so he has rage to start. I'm going to paste his plain text. Actions. Take all this. And it's a shame that I can't use my copy button because it would make things slightly quicker. Control-Shift-V does the same thing. And I can always format it to be bold and look like the rest of it. Bonus actions. I just paste in here. Control-Shift-V. Reactions. Control-Shift-V. I'm not going to give him a description because I don't have the time. He is not legendary, but if you do not delete this text because D&D Beyond is stupid, it will display it. Even though he's not legendary, it will show this stuff. And even though he's not mythic, it will show this stuff. So I go in there. He doesn't have a layer. You don't have to delete the layer stuff. Explain that one to me. You can't because it's dumb. And then you get to the nitty gritty, which is stuff that you can just go through pretty quickly. So armor class is 14. He has unarmored. Initiative bonus is +2. Passive perception is 11. Average hit points is 46. Hit points die count, he has 7. And they're D8s. Interesting. D8 for Barbarian. So sometimes it gets stuff wrong. I'm pretty sure Barbarian is D10 or D12. But I don't really care. It's an NPC after all. So 16, 14, 14, 10, 12 in Wisdom, 8 in Charisma. That's kind of funny. Saving throw proficiencies is spot on. Strength and charisma, constitution, excuse me. Damage adjustments, none. Senses, condition immunities, no. Monster habitats. He does have habitats. Forest, hills, mountains, underground. Underdark or underwater. We'll go with underwater. Excuse me, underdark. And then gear. He just has a great axe. Guy keeps a symbol. Languages, he does have languages. There's a different spot you add languages besides this. This is just for note. And then monster tags, he doesn't have any tags. Senses, I think senses is a different area too. But I already have a small avatar. This is number 2. Yep, number 2. Number 1. And boom, I've created a monster. And we're going to test it and make sure that it works. The funny thing, not funny at all, about Virtual Tabletop is despite the fact that everything else adjusts instantaneously, Virtual Tabletop takes around 30 minutes to get the message, which is super annoying. So while we're still in edit mode, we're going to back up and check Chester and just make sure everything looks right. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any code popping out when it shouldn't be. We're going to go into my campaign again, and we're going to do encounters again. Last saved. I'm going to go into test. I should have edited it from out there, but I can do it from here. Edit. And we're going to add Chester. Orbits. Add. All right, so he's now on here, along with all the other characters I've been testing. Run the encounter. I don't need to hit start. I can just click him and see I can roll. It's nice when things work. So even though it says he has a great axe, he has a hand axe. He didn't get a great axe, which is kind of fucking annoying. But it's fine. I can just take a great axe from someone else. Corwin has a great axe, right? Yeah, he has a +1. So I can just edit it and add it in. But yeah, a barbarian with a hand axe is actually kind of funny because he's tiny, so it makes sense. Great axe would make him fall over. He'd have to rage just to lift the fucking thing. But yeah, it's nice that it has the rage notes, and it obviously is not like perfectly formatted. But considering I just did that in probably like 5-6 minutes, It does really expedite not just creating NPCs, but getting them stat blocks, because it's just so difficult to do that shit in D&D Beyond. And if you copy a character, it is such a pain in the ass to change stuff about them. Like, you can honestly copy a character. As I'm saying, I'm realizing it's not that bad, but like, say I want to create a monster and I want it to be like an Aarakocra summoner, but I want it to be like a specific guy that I know. I can tell it, like, I want to copy Aarakocra Aeromancer. So I'm going to create a homebrew monster using that as a template. Now we wait. We're going to keep that. We're going to name him Tom Cruise with a K, because he flies. So there we go. We got Tom Cruise. We can keep the rest the same. And I think I made an Aarakocra with a top hat. Yeah, I did. I like that. So this is the small token. This is the big token. Yeah, save changes. And now I have Tom Cruise. So you just always have to find someone first with the stat block that's acceptable, and then make them. And now we can check and see if Tom Cruise works. I am so happy I made this character with you all, because I swear to fucking God, I'm totally going to fucking use this guy. I can also program this thing a little bit more so that I can do the mouse over and see it, which I'm pretty sure you just have to do a bracket. Let's see, spellcasting. Yeah, you just have to do bracket spells, bracket spell name, bracket /spells. So yeah, it's fun. It's been fun to build some stuff, knowing that I don't do programming very well, and I take a while to do HTML, even though I know it. To see it's very quick. So I still don't support data centers being built in residential areas, and I think it's fucking stupid, and they need to find a better way to do this. But, you know, as far as this piece of technology goes, it does have uses, and it's not replacing people. It is helping people like me do things faster. And someone who's like a professional who knows what they're doing can find even more advanced and impressive uses for this. So anyways, I'm gonna leave now.